I just don't understand what goes through. You know, no one's gonna be back here other than other hunters. Like aren't nature walkers. People just aren't gonna be out here, going for a walk. And somebody that's back in here this far is willing to put the work in. You would think they'd be a good enough human being not to screw with other people's stuff. It is July 9th. It's the 8th. Today's the 8th. Cameron and I just left the office about an hour ago. We got some pretty exciting stuff on the schedule today. We're driving down, making a 6-hour trek to a big woods chunk of public in southern Ohio to check trail cameras. These cameras have been down there unchecked since November of 2017. So the last time I was on this piece of ground was the rut, 2017. A few of these cameras had been checked. Some of them hadn't been checked prior to that. So probably early October of 2017. So that's 18 months of excitement of data that we have no idea what's down there. And there are a pile of cameras. I'm hoping that, all of them are still there. They're not stolen. We didn't lose any of them. We haven't had a problem with that before, and some of those are elevated sets, so we should be good. But this is pretty exciting stuff to get down there and finally swap these cards out, because we're gonna let them run. We're gonna swap cards out, see what's on those cards, maybe add a few, move a few, and just keep things rolling for 2019. West by God, Virginia. I think we have maybe taken a wrong turn. We're not in the aisle anymore. We just got pulled into the first spot we want to check out. There's maybe on a 1,000-acre section, I guess, if you wanted to look at look at the topo on a grid section. We got about 1,000 acres here. There's anywhere from 4 to 8 cameras in there. Not 100% certain, but we're going to go in. We're going to pull those cards, swap batteries out, swap cards out. It'll take us a couple hours to get all of these, and then we're gonna go up on top of a ridge and glass some of this clear cut. So this is the first stop. We're super pumped, and I know there's gonna be some big deer on camera. So you have a deer bedded here with any kind of north or northwest wind blowing over its back, looking at this. It's like bulletproof. First camera. He's a little bit worried that it wasn't going to be here as we walked up this point. Wasn't quite sure where it was, but it was on this side of that side of the ridge. So this has been here unchecked since November 2017. I assume the batteries are going to be dead, but you never know. So let's see what we got. The batteries are definitely dead. So I'll put that on my SD card too, just so when we come back in October or September, we know exactly what this is. So card is still in there. That's always another concern is, you know, you come to these spots and maybe the camera's there, but is the card still there? So card's still there. We're just gonna swap these batteries out and see what's actually on that card before we walk away. Throw this card back in there and see what's on it. All right, 1,293 pictures on that card. It looks like the last picture was taken June 20th of 18. And there's a bunch of false triggers on here from, there's the first deer on the 19th. Probably the same deer. That deer looks like a little bit better. It's a different deer. Fawn. Fawns. More fawns. Oh, there's a decent rack buck, which that deer's frame looks super familiar. So that is July 14th. I think I have hardhorn pictures of that deer in September, just right here down on this bottom. So that would have been September of 2017. This was 18. He was probably 4 years old and 17, so he's probably 5 there. So that makes me excited that if he was 5 there, there's a good chance that he lived, and he's going to be 6 this year, and he'll be in this area. So that's multiple years. We've had him within 200 yards. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get this thing swapped out. Looks like it's opened. All right. Card's still there. I'm sure the batteries are dead. We are 2 for 2. So this is second camera location. Camera's still there. SD card's still in the camera, but the batteries are dead. So we're gonna throw a set of batteries in there. Bust through these photos real quick. We just saw a really good track on this trail. So this camera is basically monitoring like a creek crossing. There's a trail coming off of a bench system that wraps around this bowl, and there's 2 drainages that these deer like to skirt around the top and then use this trail, I guess, to navigate this this creek bottom. So it's a really good set. We've been in here hunting a couple times, but it's just with the wind, the way it swirls, it's impossible to be bulletproof or be confident in the way the wind works. So, but the cameras are in here. They're easy to get to, and so far so good. We've got a lot of pictures, so let's check this one out. So this will be, I'm gonna mark this camera S2. The cool thing about this camera is this is an OG. This is one of our original cameras that has been, not necessarily on this tree, but it's been in this vicinity, in the woods, working since 2015. So 4+ years, this camera's been doing work non-stop. So that is pretty cool. Never gets a lot of pictures here, so I'm probably gonna put a set of outlines in this camera. And then we'll be able to sneak in here in October, wrap this drainage and check it. Somebody else on here.
That looks like the same guy.
Could be. That's Clint. Yeah, that's Clint. We'll label this card. We labeled this one S2, Sylvester 2. We'll throw this in here and we'll check these, check the rest of these photos at home. Number 3. Still here. Still intact. Definitely looks like somebody was near this one. And it is full down. guessing that one is toast. Battery tray's good. Put batteries in it, see what it does. As you can see, there's freaking ants all over this thing. Going in the SD card slot. The SD card slot's packed full. But the camera, just threw a new set of batteries in it. Boom, fired right up. These things are freaking tanks. 1,236 pictures. And it looks like this actually shut off in 11/28 of 18 was the last photo. There's a gun hunter on there. So, he didn't look at the camera, so I don't know if he saw it was there, but much props to him if he saw it and walked past it. We're actually going to move this, we're going to move this camera. There's just too much stuff growing up right here, and it's not going to do us any good. We have 2 cameras down on this lower ridge system that should get any bucks or deer. So, we'll pull this down and move it. Get out of the woods. We went 3 for 4, so went to that first area. 3 cameras were still there, 1 was gone. All 3 cameras were up and running. Batteries were dead, but there's lots of photos on them. We actually pulled one down and took it out of there. It was filled up with ants. Still running, but had some ants in it, and it was in a location that really wasn't doing much good, so we pulled that down and left the other 2 up. So we're headed back to town. It's about 9:30. Headed back to town to check to see what we got in those cards. We buzzed through a few photos real quick on the cameras, and I know for certain there's at least 2 bucks of interest. One, I think it wasn't a very good picture, but it looked like there was a ton of tines, a ton of points. I only saw half his rack, but it looked like it was a big deer. So pretty excited about that. We're gonna check it out and get back at it tomorrow. We got about a 40-minute drive to the hotel, so we're gonna go back and scrape all the ticks off of us. Sweet tea.
Don't forget your french fries.
Oh, I forgot my french fries. Number 4. Give me what you want. Give me what you want. Give me what you want. The camera that had the ants that we moved, we took down. This is the one that had the deer with all the tines. Yeah. All the points. This is too high.
Yeah. That's the.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's blatant.
I don't know what is going on there, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It might only be like a 10-point frame, maybe.
It's a good deer.
It's a different deer. Wait, what day was that? The 16th, not almost 10 o'clock, the 16th of November. So that deer should be tall 3s, 2s and 3s. Second camera on the bottom on that creek crossing, maybe. Six-pointer. Funky looking rack. They are bobcats.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
pretty cool.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's bobcat again. Deer running.
Yoder.
Yeah. A little bit of snow.
Yoder. Yoder. Yoder.
It's a cool picture.
Wow.
That's a fucking
That's
sweet
cool.
shot.
That's cool.
I did not do that on purpose. So this is camera that was on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This camera was set up on a 3-shot burst, but oh, that's what I'm talking about. Right there. I mean, 10-point frame.
Yeah.
Really good frame.
Tall.
Yep.
That's a big body deer too.
This was on the 17th.
The other one was.
He was on a doe. There's a doe coming through.
Yep. Yep.
Boom. So that was doe comes through at 8:12.
He's at
Bucks.
813.
8:13. Alright, let's go find coffee and food, I guess. Get the day going. So, day 2, July 10th. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. We had to go shoot some quick photos for a project, but now we are at camera location number 2, or area number 2, I guess. There's a couple cameras in here. I think there's 2, and also a stand we need to pull. So we're gonna go check these. Again, these have been unchecked since November of 17. One is over a scrape, and then one is down in a saddle or a terrain feature. So there's probably not too much activity on either one of these cameras, but still, the one scrape camera always provided good daylight, big buck pictures around that the week of Thanksgiving. So around the 20th to the 25th, there was always daylight walkers, and usually pretty big. So we're gonna head in, get this done, and then move on to spot number 3. It's supposed to get pretty hot, so we want to get this stuff done this morning and get back on the road. So we're gonna get after it. This is one of the cameras. On the way down, I was worried about growing legs and walking away, because it's literally we're, I don't know, 30 yards from the road. I mean, you can still see my truck, and you can actually, in the fall when the foliage is down, you can actually see this camera from the road, and there's a bunch of big buck sign on the road. So interesting to see if this card's still here. Card is still there, camera's still on. I'm sure the batteries are dead. Batteries are dead. So we're just gonna pull this camera. There's not gonna be much happening here until October, till these scrapes start to open back up. So we're gonna pull this camera. Maybe we'll throw a set of batteries in when we get to the truck, and just buzz through some photos, see what's on here. So we're just gonna pull this down. So we just got to this second camera site, and camera shut off, and it was open like this. So the card's still in place though, but obviously somebody was back in here messing with this stuff. I don't think I would forget to close it and forget to turn it off. If it was one or the other, maybe, but to do both, I don't think I would have done that. And the funny thing is, there's a set just on the other side of this ridge, probably 25 yards from here, that is still in place. It's still there. So this might power on, might not power on. I have no idea. Nope. We're gonna pull this camera, pull this stand, and take these two cameras back to the truck and throw a set of batteries in them and see what's on there. So kind of disappointed somebody was back in here. I just said on the way in that this is the easiest walk probably in the entire damn county that we're in. And that camera out by the road was still there, so I didn't think, if anybody didn't mess with that, I didn't think they'd be back here. But yeah, it is what it is. So two cameras, neither one of them walked away, but somebody's definitely messing with at least one. I hope that they can go through and delete the photos on the card, because that'd really make me mad. That's his, not having a card or stealing an SD card or having someone delete your photos, in my opinion, is as bad as someone stealing a damn camera. So hopefully the photos are still there. So a lot of times when I hang sets on public, I will take the bottom stick with me, and then that way I don't have to carry one stick in, and I don't have to worry about anyone stealing anything. So we're back in here a little ways, and saw the tree stand and two sticks from a decent ways away coming down the ridge, but there is no bottom stick. And the second stick is probably, what is that, about 10 feet, 10, 12 feet. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll try that at home without a safety harness. So we are at, I guess, location number 3. It's an area that I've hunted quite a bit over 2016, 2015 for a specific deer. There's a big typical 10, probably 160 inches, 160 inch deer in here that we tried to get on for 2 years, had one encounter, and could never catch up with them. So there's a slew of cameras in here. I'm not exactly sure how many. We bounced cameras in and out and moved them all around in here trying to get on this deer. So I know the general locations of where they should be or where they were, so there's a good chance that someone could have taken one of these cameras and we would never know, or we forget to check an area that we just simply leave a camera in the woods that we don't know about. So we're gonna do some walking. It's a little bit of it's a tough walk. It's about a mile back in, and the terrain's pretty steep and it's pretty thick and pretty nasty, so it's not gonna be a very pleasant walk. But have water. We just need to take a climbing stick because there is a couple elevated sets that we'll need to check or pull down, and my wicked handsaw for a machete. So it's pretty ready to get it. Gnarly and chewed up.
Pretty big shed.
I don't think I know that deer. Yeah, I mean, good brow tine. G3 is pretty good. Yeah, definitely chewed up though. I think that camera's, for some reason I think I was hunting that tree, but I'm not 100% certain. I know these deadfalls weren't like all these trees that got blown over or whatever. I know that it wasn't like that when last time I was in here. So I don't know. Just walked around a little bit. The camera might have been on one of these trees that fell down. All right, so real quick, we're down here on this bench system, and I thought for sure, right where we found this shed, I thought that I had a camera there, and I had hunted out of one of those trees, but there were a bunch of blowdowns. We couldn't find the camera, so we either thought, one, I took it out of there and forgot about it. Two, someone stole it, which was pretty unlikely they were down there. Or three, it was underneath one of those blowdowns, but we couldn't see a strap. So we followed this bench up. We're gonna wrap around this point to go back on top of that ridge to get into a saddle. And just walking through here, actually looking for more sheds. And I looked up, and boom, on the trees a lift too. So I had my bearings. I think I had my bearings a little bit backwards here, but so kind of surprised. But there's always been good deer in here. This is where that big typical 10 was, and in that shed, I mean, it's all chewed up, but we just rough scored it what we thought it would be, and it's almost 140-inch deer with an 18-inch spread. So I think that's valid enough reason to leave this camera here. Dew claws. Check. We just got to second camera. It's up on this ridge top. There's an old logging road here that's kind of overgrown, but it forks right here. There's doe bedding on top, and there's usually a scrape and whatnot opens up on this little flat spot. So this camera's always produced good pictures of really good deer. This is where we first got that big typical 10 on camera, that big super tall 9-point that had like 16-inch G2s. But so we got here, the door's off of it, so somebody was in here messing with it, and the SD card might be out, might be gone. The SD card's gone. So broken door and no SD card. And I know there's big pictures of big deer on here, so that just draws attention, draws people. So I guess we will take this camera down. So we are at camera number 3. Camera number 3 in our third location. Still in the third location. Camera number 3. Cameron actually spotted it. I thought it was on the other side of the ridge, but I thought it was gone, but Cameron saw it. Doesn't look like anybody messed with it, but we're gonna go over and check it out. Another OG doing work. Oh!
Card's gone.
Card gone, camera off. Oh. So we just took a water break, a little ways up the ridge, and in previous week or video or whatever, we were talking about elevated sets and how they deter theft and whatnot. And we had mentioned that we had 4 cameras stolen along the same ridge, and this is the area that we had 4 cameras wiped out 1 year. We thought it was a forester because they were coming through here marking some stuff to spray some invasive species stuff. And we thought the forester took those cameras, so we didn't think anybody would be back here. But obviously, I don't know how far apart were these cameras?
200 yards.
Yeah, 200 or 300 yards apart. There's a small saddle here, a clear cut, and then on the leeward side, on the side that we're on, there's a bench system, and it's always a bunch of white oaks here, so it's always have a lot of good pictures here. Obviously, there was probably something good on camera, and somebody shut the camera off and stole the card. So that's the second camera on this ridge that somebody's messed with. It's part of running cameras on public, I guess. There's always that possibility. So the third camera today, we pulled 3 yesterday and pulled 3 today, and 3 of them have either been shut off.
One was stolen yesterday.
and
We had 4 cards.
3 shut off. 3 cameras have been shut off so far, and 2 cards stolen. Out of 7 cameras. So we're batting less than 500. So we just dropped down into the saddle, and like I said, there was like the camera up top was tampered with, and there's always been a camera on this tree monitoring this trail leading up into the saddle. There's a bench system right below us, and the deer run this bench and then hop this trail and cross the saddle over into a clear cut. So we're on the leeward side of a clear cut. There's a lot of edge that comes together. Bench system, saddle. It's a super dynamite spot, but obviously everyone else thinks it's cool too. So now we were batting 500. We were 4 for 8. Now we are 4 for 9 with 2 stolen cameras and 3 that were tampered with. Stolen SD cards or shut off or whatever. So it's getting worse as we go. Trail camera 9/25/16. So it's right here close to it. Just up here a little ways maybe. Walk up here a little ways, see if we see it. This camera's definitely gone. You know, like I said earlier, if I was in here having a camera today, it would be on that pinch on the top of that drainage. This bench or trail system really starts to neck down right here, and it's only, you know, you have 10 feet. It's only about 10 16 feet wide. So there's no reason I would hang a camera here, even though that's on my Onyx. It says it is here, but it would have been on the top of that drainage, and we don't see it. We don't see a strap. Didn't see anything laying on the ground. So I just don't understand what goes through. You know, no one's gonna be back here other than other hunters. Like aren't nature walkers. People just aren't gonna be out here, going for a walk just to enjoy themselves. And somebody that's back in here this far is willing to put the work in. You would think they'd be a good enough human being not to screw with other people's stuff. Kind of pisses me off. But everyone knows it's part of public land. Everyone has access to it. And sometimes your stuff gets taken. 10 cameras checked, going home with 4. So there's the first location, the first spot we checked, there were 3 cameras. We left 2 in the woods. Lost 1. This morning, second location, both cameras were there.
Took them both down.
Took them both down because somebody had shut the one off and left the door open. This spot, first camera was there.
Door's gone.
No. The one in the bottom.
Oh yeah, that was good.
The one on the bottom was there. Lots of bucks. Lots of activity. Left that camera up. Got up to the top. Camera number 2. Card's gone. Door's gone. Camera 3. Card's gone. Camera shut off. Camera number 4. Gone. This camera's gone. Number 5 in this spot. So there should have been 5 cameras here. We have 1 card. But anyways, we're gonna hop out on this ridge and get on 20s logging roads on this clear cut and start headed back. It's about 11:30, and I'm out of water. Camera's pretty hot. I think we're both a little disappointed, so let's make our way back to the truck. It is lunchtime on the 10th. We are out of the woods. We went 4 for 10. So recovered 4 actual cameras and cards. 6 were either stolen or tampered with or cards taken. So we only ended up with 4 cards. 1 big deer on camera, and then 1 camera location that had a ton of deer in and out of it in daylight, mid-130s type deer. So it's not all bad. It's super, super hot. We're headed to the warehouse to check on a camera shipment, and then we were headed back to the office. So we got about a 6-hour drive ahead of us. We'll get in probably somewhere around 9 o'clock tonight. So, but right now, in important thing is, I think we're gonna stop getting some ice cream.